All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Day Late Dollar Short Podcast.
Mm.
It's me, Bald and Bearded. I'm rocking solo today. It's okay because my boys got to take care of their family. So I got a good one though. Got a good guest. We are joined by none other than this shit is more than a game himself, Jono Barnes. Bro, welcome to the podcast.
I appreciate you having me on, Marlon. It's probably best that your other two co-hosts aren't on because I talk a lot. So it's probably going to save you a lot of time that they couldn't make it today. But I know they're here in spirit because I know that they are this shit more than the
they
game.
are definitely missing this conversation, man. As you're a Saints fan, they're Saints fans as well. So I'm sure they miss out. But like you said, maybe we can do a sequel at some point.
It depends. It depends on what you come with on this interview. And I'll decide at the end of the interview if there's a possibility for a part two or not. Because you're already wearing that stupid t-shirt. You're already wearing that stupid t-shirt. And I was about to cancel the interview when I saw you putting it on. But I said, it's my homie since like what, high school, middle. I said, I'm going to let him live. You see, you're starting early. You're starting early. Look, today you guys were recording on August 15th. So I'm already in a bad mood because the Falcons stole Justin Simmons from us. Like we are at such a low point of a franchise that free agents are choosing the Falcons over us and using my franchise for a free dinner and trip to LA. But I'm trying to be cool, and then Marlon comes on. If you're watching the show, and he's wearing this stupid Eagles shirt. They really tested my patience today. God is really testing my patience today.
But the thing is, man, to be honest with you, I've grown over the past few years. Like a few years ago, I was very petty. As you know, we've been friends on Facebook and Instagram. Like I was very petty. Like when it came to Saints games or Eagles, I was very petty. Like, you know what? This is bad energy. Let me just chill. You guys go through enough year to year. As do I, so I'm just kind of be chill. So I've grown, so I'm gonna go easy on you on this episode.
I appreciate that. You must either two options. One, you really love me, or two, you are that confident in your Eagles because again, y'all, this is August 15th. Literally to the left of my vision, I am watching the Eagles play a preseason game against the New England Patriots. That Marlon is sacrificing his time to watch the Eagles on national TV to interview me. He either really loves me or he's that cocky in the Eagles. He's like, I don't care about no damn. Only you Saints fans care about preseason. We worry about real football in September. I don't know what the option is, which one you are going with, but
I'm gonna lean towards option one.
I appreciate it.
It's more about just having the conversation. I'll watch that later. Again, don't get me wrong. I've missed football. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, let me know when week one, when everybody, the real people play. I'm not big on starters.
I feel you. I'm different. I'm like, I want to see the four stringers play that never the four stringers that's going to be doing like Uber Eats in 3 weeks. I love watching them play.
Or getting their CDL licenses and like
no hate to them. Obviously, it's just all jokes, but it's football. Hey, it's shit more than the game.
Okay, so to that point, how did that become your trademark? How did you even like come up with that, and then just talk about the process of that you're saying?
I think what I really like about the fact that it's kind of really taken off is that it was organic, 100% organic. So when the Pelicans won their play-in game in 2022 to make a playoff spot, the city was on fire with the Pelicans. And you know, with my content, Martin, I like to do skits and make fun content whenever the Saints or Pelicans do good or bad. So Woody Green had gave a great rally speech in the fourth quarter, before the fourth quarter, as we were down, with our season on the line. Like, you're either going to win this game and go to the playoffs, or you're going to go home. And he did the infamous "you got to fight" speech. So after the game, I kind of had fun with that speech where I envisioned the vision of the skit was, I'm just a passionate fan. I'm so bucked up. I'm excited. I'm too excited. And the purpose of the whole skit, the punchline was going to be that I was like, I'm ready to run through a wall for this man. And I literally, in the skit, I ran through a wall. But when I do these type of skits, I don't necessarily like write down lines or anything. I kind of just say to whoever the cameraman, and it's usually my lovely wife, who, God bless us, putting up with my bullshit for the past few years. I say, okay, look, I'm gonna hit this point, I'm gonna hit that point, I'm gonna hit this point, just kind of like freestyle off me, feed off my energy, feed off my craziness. Like, she quote unquote plays the annoyed wife. I mean, she ain't really playing it, she is. But and I said, just play off that. So, we're doing the skit, and at one point she says, Jono, it's just a game. And I utter out, and this is not planned. Like, this is literally just us like feeding off each other. I said, well, it's more than a damn game. I didn't say this shit more than a game. I say it's more than a damn game. And then we get the punchline where like, I'm ready to run through a wall for this man. And I ran through a wall and knocked myself out. The video did great numbers on Twitter. You know, City was on fire for the Pelicans, so they were loving it. And most of the comments were, yeah, you're right, Jono, it is more than a game. Yeah, it is more than a game. So I was like, I might have something with this.
Yeah.
And then the next video we did after game one, I said, and I don't know why I changed it from it's more than a damn game to this shit more than a game, but I say this shit more than a game. And again, people were like, yeah, this shit is more than a game. This shit is more than a game, man. I was like, you know what? This is legit. Like, this is authentic. This is New Orleans. This is Louisiana. Like, this shit really is more than a game down here. I might be the avatar of the brand now, but I genuinely feel like the brand is for New Orleans and the brand is for Louisiana. So I'm very happy that it's taken off to where it's taken off. And I feel like there's still levels that it can go to take off. I feel like right now the diehard Saints fans and Pelicans fans, you know of it and yell it out when they see me and wear the t-shirts and put it on Twitter and X, if you want to call it that, and Instagram and Facebook. But I feel like it still has potential to expand to not even just Saints fans, but just people in New Orleans in general, because you could take this shit more than a game and apply it in so many ways in New Orleans and Louisiana. So that is going to be now my goal is to continue to grow it. But I am just humbled and happy that it's grown to where it's grown. And one more thing, Martin, what
that shit
I really love about this, and this is why I get a little sentimental, is the time that I actually said verbally this shit more than a game. That was a skit that I did with my big brother who passed away literally like 3 months ago. So like it really holds a special place in my heart. Like the first time that I actually uttered this shit more than a game, he got to be a part of me with that skit. So it just like really is a special thing to me. And I'm really grateful that it has become what it's become in New Orleans and Louisiana, and that what it can continue to hopefully become in the city and state.
I'm proud of you, man. And I got a
Thank you.
I'll tell you my favorite one, I think it was like last year for Christmas. And you had like a blow up like dog outside, and like you watching the game, you went outside, you started hitting it. It's like, Jono, stop! I got that was probably my favorite one. All you did.
No, that wasn't a skit. That was a documentary. I always say, like, sometimes the stuff is actually legitimate footage, and my wife just records it to present to our marriage therapist.
I see. So to that point, did she? You kind of said earlier, but I want to touch on a little bit more. Does she really like give you some more input, some more ideas with your content, or? It's more like you have the control, and then
I have the control. She is, to peel back the curtain, like honestly, the best wife in the world, because she's not a public facing person, and it helps that she's behind the camera, like just doing voiceover work at this point. So she's not always in the actual skits, like visibly, but she is my biggest supporter. And whatever wild dream I have, a wild vision I have of an idea for content, she's always ride or die to help out. Whether the skit ends up doing great numbers on Twitter, whether I still to this day I get like skits that gets like maybe 20 likes and 5 retweets. Is all part of the process, right? Like you're gonna have some that like really like they gravitate to, and some that are like, yeah, it's okay, which I understand. I think all gonna be first round draft picks, but whether I have a hit one or whether I have one that's kind of like, she's gonna be there to support all of the time, and I really, really appreciate her because. Truthfully, she said that if before I kind of threw this content stuff on her, Martin. Like, we met in 2017. I didn't actually start finally doing content until 2021. It was the middle of the pandemic. I was like, man, if I'm gonna finally do this, like the time's to do it now, right? Like, everybody's sitting at home not doing nothing. Like, John, this is your chance. Are you either gonna do it, or you gonna go to bed every night tossing and turning, wondering what you could have did if you put yourself in front of a camera. She says, like, when we first started dating, I was like in the middle of doing this, she probably would not have pursued it any further because she's like, that's just not my steez. So lucky me that I did wait so long, I guess, right? But I'm always grateful that she is game to just help out in whichever way. And it's really beneficial because a lot of fans like kind of gravitate towards the joke of, the annoyed wife versus the fanatic husband, or even woman like, oh, I'm the fanatic one and my husband is the one that's like, but like you can still see yourself in those situations, and I couldn't do it without having her to feed off of me. So she's the real MVP. She's absolutely the real MVP.
Absolutely, she is, man. So to that point, I know it's still kind of later on, but just on a topic of basketball, what are your expectations this year for the Pelicans?
Well, the schedule just came out today. I don't know if you saw.
I did see that.
I guess I'm more optimistic for them than I am the Saints. So they got that going for them. I was excited, Marlon, when we traded for DeJounte Murray because
That was a good move for you. That was a very good
we
move.
finally had something fun, right? Like it feels like the past few years. And last year we actually had on paper, when you look at it, a good season. Like we won, I think it was 49 or 50 games. Like that's a good season. I would have signed up for that in October 2023. But it was still like just a weird season that the fan base didn't get excited. There was never that one moment that like really energized the city. And I was like, this is a weird season. It feels like we're being ho-hum about going to the playoffs. It didn't help that we ended up in the play-in yet again.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I just hope we do something fun this offseason instead of, oh, look at Zion. He looks like he lost weight. That usually is like our top off-season topic is Zion picking for the offseason. Oh, he's strong this year. They were going with he's got a beard. And I'm like, come on, man, this franchise, this fan base is like that low that Zion having a beard is the most fun thing. But DeJounte Murray gives us some fun and hope, and I don't know if it's going to work out or not, but I finally have something to look forward to. So I'm actually excited about that. I do think it's a good move. I'm interested to see because I thought for sure we were going to trade Ingram, a part of that trade, and when we kept him, I was like, oh, this is great. Now we can trade Ingram for depth, like another piece. And it seems like the tea leaves are saying that Ingram is going to be on the team at least until, the end of the year. Maybe we trade him at the trade deadline. So I don't know. I interviewed with Christian Clark on Monday, the Times-Picayune Pelicans beat reporter. Nice. And I told him, I said, I like donuts, I like hamburgers, and I like ice cream. I don't like donuts, hamburger, and ice cream together.
Well said.
Like some days are best separate. I don't know if Zion, BI, and Murray as a trio is going to work out. I think in the regular season you can get by with it for a little bit just because some teams are kind of on cruise control. You never know when you're going to get players sent out for load management or injuries or whatnot. So you can get by and win enough games. But do I see that trio being able to lead us to the finals or the Western Conference finals? No, I feel like, and I love BI, so I hate saying this, but this is business. I feel like he's probably our best asset to trade and get another center or maybe some depth to really expand our potential. But if you were to tell me that the roster we have right now is the one we're going to have for the whole 2024 season, I would say our best case scenario, if Zion stays healthy and everything goes right, is a second round appearance, which at this point I will take because we're Pelicans fans and we don't have the right to be choosy about our level of success. It ain't like we the Celtics are, the Nuggets or the Lakers where the second round is a disappointment. Like I'll take a second round at this point. Floor is probably going to be, again, a play-in seed and hope that we make the first round. So it'll be interesting, but I do give the front office credit for finally swinging on something like Murray instead of just sitting back and saying, now we're going to run it back for a fourth straight year. And this is the year that Zion's going to be healthy. This is the year that we're going to see everybody. It's like, nah, we have enough data to know that we had to make a change, and I'm glad we did.
I did see something on I think it was a Bleacher Report where different like trade scenarios in which y'all would trade Ingram, I think, for like Miles Turner and like another player or something like that.
I mean, at this point, it's like you either trade him for something or you're going to risk losing him in the offseason because he's a free agent after this offseason. Right. So at this point, if that's the best offer we got, I mean, we don't need to do it today, but I do feel once the All-Star break comes and the trade deadline is closed, like it's going to be like, hey, if you're going to get something for him, you better do it now. You essentially are saying, okay, well, we're going to let him go for nothing in the offseason. If we're like whipping ass up until February and like we are like a top team, like a clear top team, I'll be like, fine, ride with BI for the year. What happens, happens. If we are like the same, like, we're 21-21 or whatever, like, just kind of floating in that middle of the pack, I'll be like, y'all better trade him for something. Just get some value for him. That's my opinion. I don't know if David Griffin in the front office is going to follow that logic, but that's what I would do.
Exactly, man. Exactly. And actually, I know, so in April, we get an opportunity to interview former Hornet Pelican Jason Smith. So how'd that come about?
Well, I was a ball boy for the team for 13 years. I'm showing my age. I was a ball boy during the Hornets era, right?
You was in the Hornets. Hornets / Pelicans,
Yeah, no, I was there for Jason Smith's time. And, when you're a ball boy, you get to actually establish friendships with these guys. Like, you're not just an employee to them. Like, honestly, we are like their second in command on game days. They rely on the ball boys for all of the little small things so that they can focus simply on being in their zone for the game. So Jason was one of the players that I got to become friends with throughout my tenure as a Pelicans and Hornets ball boy. He had the great moment, the classic moment in Hornets/Pelicans history when he did that hard foul on Blake Griffin, and I joked with him that was the start of when I realized, oh, this shit is more than the game. So it was only right, like perfect, right, for him to come and be my first former Hornet/Pelican on the show, and he was awesome. He was absolutely awesome. I'm always humbled and honored when I have former athletes and current athletes come on my show, because I also had Eric McCoy literally come to my house.
I was going to ask you about that as a follow-up. But like, you also had the opportunity to have Eric McCoy come to their house, like do a full like interview. So even with that, to that point, how did you get that to come about?
It's just Eric McCoy being the coolest guy on the goddamn roster. I hit him up. I say, Eric, I would love to have you on my show. At that point, I didn't even have like a professional podcast. I was just doing like streams and stuff, but I didn't have like any old episodes to show him. Like, hey, this is my, my resume. This is my content. Like, but he did know of my content from Twitter and like knowing like I'm the angry, crazy Saints fan. And thank God he actually thought it most of it. I'll say all of it, but he thought most of it was entertainment. He was like, yeah. And actually, when I asked him, I thought it was going to be kind of like a Zoom interview like this, right? Like, I was like, I'm not expecting this man to come to my house. And he was like, so we confirmed that we had a date, and he was like, all right, what time do you want me to come to the crib? I was like, wait, what? I was like, let me get back to you. So I hit my wife up and my parents, and I'm like, hey, he wants to actually come to the crib, but I ain't got enough equipment. Like, I just got my computer and one mic. So my wife was like, I don't know if you could do it because you just don't have the equipment for it. So I went back to McCoy and I was like, man, McCoy, I appreciate it. And that would be awesome. Like, that I have you. Like, it just means a lot more. I feel like when you have that person with you, like, oh, he actually has McCoy holding up his shirt or whatnot. So I told McCoy, man, let's just do it via Zoom. It'll be easier for you. You ain't got to take time out your schedule. You can just do it from your car, from your living room, whatever. McCoy was like, bet. Then he hit me up again. He was like, hey, man, look, I'm free for like the next 2 weeks. So if you need time and you want to push it back a little bit, we can really do this in person. And I was like, all right, look, that's God telling me, Jono, I'm giving you like the prime opportunity. So you better take this. So I said, all right, I'm going to take it. So literally after we confirmed it, I went and I bought this top of the line equipment. You can see it right now if you're watching the show.
I see, yeah.
And we set up in my living room and my New Orleans establishment and my house in New Orleans East. And we had Eric McCoy literally come to the crib and do an interview. And I want to say, Marlon, because I've searched high and dry, I legitimately think he is the first current active NFL player to come to a fan's house and do an interview. Don't quote me on that. I know a lot of players have done like interviews with fans, but it's usually via Zoom. I have not seen an actual current NFL player come to a fan's crib and do an interview. Now, maybe if they have, I can promise you can count on one hand how many players have done it. So that was historical. And I brag about that a lot. Like, I try to be humble, but I legitimately, I'm like, yo, I had an NFL, not even like the 52nd man on the roster. Like, he's an all-pro center, and he's at my house doing an interview. Like, that is some historic shit. And I'm trying to, use that momentum to get even more, like to say, oh, we could actually keep going with this and like make it so that we really revolutionize what fandom and being a fan doing content can look like in 2024 and going forward. Like, you don't just have to be a professional media member anymore to talk to these public figures, like what y'all doing a little bit more. Like, you can be a guy with a camera, build up a legitimate community, and have some great people of prominence come to your spot, or you go to their spot or whatever, and chat it up and do conversations. So that's probably my most proudest moment as a content creator. I got so much love for Eric McCoy. As down as I am on the Saints right now, I am cheering like hell because I want to see that man succeed, because he is the hardest worker, the nicest guy, chill as hell. He did not have to do that for me, but he did. It was a great experience, and I'm hoping that that's just the start of many in-person interviews that I do with Saints players, Pelicans players, LSU players, but not just sports. I could do like, any notable New Orleans figure, and maybe it grows to a national level. You just never know. I try to aim real high when I do my content. My wife says sometimes you need to kind of like take a step back and smell your roses of what you're doing. But
as you should, definitely.
I just have this thing in me, Marlon, where like I'm always like, all right, what's next? Like I celebrate when I do something pretty cool for a day or two. Then I'm like, okay, what's the next ladder, the step on the ladder of success. I feel like that's a good thing because that means you're always driven to want to improve your content. But also, I do and am humbled that I get to experience some of the things that I have achieved so far in my content creation career. So shout out to Eric McCoy for sure.
Definitely, man. And to that point, though, talk about that day when he came. Like, I'm sure you were like nervous as hell. Like, it's like just talk about like just the day of and like the hour leading up, 30 minutes, like the countdown till he came to your house and y'all finally sat down and chopped it up.
I'm about to treat you like my therapist. I don't say I suffer from anxiety, but I experience anxiety, not just for that, but like for as comfortable as clearly I am in front of a camera, because I sure can talk a lot, right? I still get nervous and anxious when I know that I'm doing something that's public facing or when I'm doing something that's pretty, I guess, important or relevant. So not just for that McCoy interview, but for a lot of things. But for the McCoy interview, you get a little anxious. You're like, "Whoo, boy! I hope that everything goes right. That the equipment, because this was our first time doing this, and thank God I got a great team, man. Shout out to my guy Ziggy, who was a podcast producer. Shout out to my guy Lyndon, who did like we had the top of the line lights. Like, God bless me that I just happen to have best friends who have experience in production setup and videography and things like that. My best friend Sean is a great co-host. Like, I had a team ready to go. But you're still wondering, like, oh man, what if the microphone doesn't record? What if the power goes out? Like, what can go wrong will go wrong, right? What if I just do a bad job as an interviewer? I was nervous, but I was also quietly confident and excited and just anxious. I didn't have like an anxiety attack or anything. I've had those in the past, but not for that. but I was anxious. Like I was like, "Who? All right, Jono, like calm down. Like like let's do this. Like let's make history. Let's have fun with this. And let's do something pretty damn cool." So yeah, the nerves were there. The nerves are probably always going to be there, Marlon. Like I'm always going to get a little. I mean, even for like something like this, like like I usually, my wife can tell you, like I start pacing myself like 10 minutes before every interview because I'm like in the zone and I just really want to present myself or entertain whoever I'm interviewing and that person's audience or my audience. So it went great though. McCoy literally, he said, I'm going to be there at 7 o'clock. At 7 o'clock, ding, like, and that must be a Sean Payton trait that he learned, like punctual. Like he was on time. It wasn't like, 7 o'clock. He got there at 7:12. Like he was on time. I told him an hour. We wound up going for about more than 2 hours. Like in the middle of the interview, I was like, yo, let's wrap up. He was like, no, let's, I'm enjoying this. Let's keep going. And that just shows how cool he was. And then after he left, though, like we took some photos and whatnot. He got his shirt that I'm praying that he wears at some point.
He will.
I told him to wear it before the Falcons game. Like that would be my dream. Like like as mad as I am at the Saints, I still want to whip the Falcons' ass come September and November. But after the interview, though, like I was like a giddy school. I'm like, oh my God, like, we did it.
You look cloud nine, sure. Yeah.
Eric McCoy, like I'm a lifelong, that more. I'm a lifelong Saints fan, dog. I still got season tickets at the top of like literally the last row in the Superdome section 623, stand up since 2003. I think it's 2002. I've had it for over 25 plus years. Like I am a diehard Saints fan. I've been watching them since middle school. Like when I had the wherewithal to know what actually is going on. So like to have a Pro Bowl player on my couch, like kicking it with me and my fellas, and then when my mom and dad and brother and all them came, I was like, yo, what is life? Like God is good. God is good, man.
All time,
I hope you get that with an Eagles player one day, Marlon. That's the nicest thing I'm gonna say to you tonight.
I appreciate that, man. And honestly, man, and like full disclosure, I also too get nervous. Like in every interview we do, I get nervous. Like, man, like I'm asking the right questions. Just like the timing gonna be right. It will sound right all the time. But then, there are times where we record and I want to listen to it afterwards, but I'm worried about it. And I listen to it like, man, that was good. Like, it was a good flow. And every time we're done with interviews, they're like, oh, that was fun. Let's do it again. I'm like, to me, that's all I want to hear. So
it's all the process,
with you,
man.
Right there with you.
You're right. And it's all the process. And I tell people who sometimes come to me and say, man, how do I get started? I say, well, the first rule that I have that I'll gladly get to you is one, you cannot be afraid to fail. Like, you can't be afraid, like, oh, my first video only got like, your first video might only get 2 likes, 10 views. Like you got to establish yourself. People didn't wake up one day and say, I'm searching for Jono Barnes on Twitter. Right. Like you got to build up an audience. And it's going to take some time. Like people see the top 2%, right? Like the overnight sensations and whatnot. And they think that that's what you got to have right away. I'm like, nah, man, you literally got to get it out the mud. And it's going to come with nerves, and it's going to come with, maybe some failures, things you got to learn. But if you are passionate about it, it's exhausting. Don't get me wrong. It's exhausting, but it's still also one of the most fun things you can do if this is something that you really want to get into. So it's also been kind of cool watching your journey as well. And like me and you are like-minded, and you get the nerves and whatnot, but then you watch it back and you're like, hey, I actually am pretty decent at this stuff.
Definitely, man. And like, just to that point you said earlier, there's some times where I will post this, post that, and like make it, some likes here and a few comments there. I'm like, damn, I was hoping for more, but to that point, the passion just takes over. Like, I just enjoy the work. I enjoy just having these different conversations with different people. And then when they keep on telling me back, like, man, that was a good time. Like, I don't do podcast interviews, but did with you guys, it was fun. And then for me, that's all I need to hear. And then in time, it will continue to grow. Like you say, you got to just invest. If you're passionate about it, just keep on going. Like, no matter what, you just keep on going. So as from you, like, kind of, I watch you from afar. I'm like, well, Jono's doing is great. So let me keep going. So, bro, you're inspiration as well. It's kind of
well, I appreciate that, and do know this, like you, I get videos and content stuff that doesn't get a lot of likes or whatnot. I'm at the point, again, I'm not afraid to fail. Like, okay, if a video flops, if you want to say that, I'm like, it just keeps motivating me to keep going. Okay, right, I got exactly. The next one got to hit. Like, it is what it is. Like, you just never know which one. There's somebody right now who might look at me and be like, oh, this guy has it all, and he only has 100 followers, and he does a video that blows up, and now he has 20,000 followers, right? Like, you just never know. So as long as you got the passion behind it, you never give up. And I, even if I have a video that does 12 likes, 2 retweets, I'm like, okay, well, I'll deliver on the next one. Michael Jordan make every shot, right?
Absolutely.
Aaron Judge doesn't hit a home run every time he goes to bat. Sometimes you're going to have a single. Sometimes you're going to strike out. You keep going.
That part. So speaking of passion, Corey talked about earlier, your lovely Saints. So what are your expectations this year for these lovely Saints?
I think right now I'm stuck on 7-10, which sucks because it's like you're not bad enough to get a top 5, top 8, top 10 pick, right? Maybe 7 wins get you top 10 pick, but you're not getting a top 5 pick. But you're also not good enough to make the playoffs. Like last year sucked because we won 9 games and we didn't make the playoffs. So now you're like you're picking still kind of high in the draft, and you didn't make the playoffs. Like, what did you got to show for it? I mean, we got Fuaga, which is great. I think he's going to be a good tackle for us, but we're stuck in the worst.
He's a good pick, but yeah, it was a very good pick.
I mean, he's a Simone. You know, Simones don't play the bloodline, right? So I'm like, all right, he already got me. So if he's a bust, that means he's just going to be the next WWE heavyweight champion. So win-win, right? But we're in the worst spot I feel like you can be as a fan, and that's in mediocrityville, like where you're not too good, but you're not too bad. So you're just stuck in the middle. I feel like being stuck in the middle is the worst spot to be as a franchise, because you either want to be real bad and at least your fans is like, oh, well, we're going to get a top 5 pick. Whoever we draft is going to be like the guy that changes the franchise, right? Like us in 2006. Reggie Bush is going to change this franchise. Or you want to be real good and playing for a Super Bowl every year, or at least, in the playoffs. We're just stuck in this little middle mediocrity thing. It's like, well, goddamn, we ain't got nothing to show for. We're not getting a good draft pick, and we're not making the playoffs. So what are we doing? And I feel like we're setting ourselves up for that again this year, that we're going to be 7-10, maybe 8-9. I would be shocked if we go 9-8. I want them, Marlon, truly. I might, some people think that once you build a big enough platform, like I got a lot of Saints fans that follow me. So
yeah, of course.
One tweet I'm being called a Debbie Downer and like a fake fan, and I'm always negative. The next tweet I'm being called a kiss ass and I love the team too much. I'm like, whatever. That comes with,
pick one. Like, I need pick one. But yeah,
exactly, right? I'm like, look, I gotta have varying opinions. Sue me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure as long as this man Dennis Allen and Derek Carr, which I actually don't hate Derek Carr as much as the fans do. Like, I feel like Marlon, Derek Carr last year was who he was in 2022. I'm like, he didn't change up. Like Derek Carr showed y'all who he's been for years. Like, it's the fans' fault for thinking that because he's wearing black and gold now that he's the next group. Like, no, Derek Carr has been who Derek Carr has been for the past few years now. Now I never really was a strong believer in Dennis Allen, and I always tell I'll always yell on my stream. I'm like,
no, you'll tell your yells.
yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
I yell. I say Dennis because I'll say some wild things, not disrespectful. Well, maybe you could argue disrespectful. Sometimes I get a little too crazy sometimes on Dennis and Mickey Loomis. But I always tell them, I say, look, if y'all prove me wrong, I will make the apology as loud as my disrespect has been. But they have not given me a reason to apologize for nothing. But Mickey Loomis continues to triple down that this guy is the leader and the one that he wants to put his chips in to lead the team. So as long as this man is wearing black and gold, I'm talking about Dennis Allen, I will cheer for him. I'm going to be in week 1 at the Superdome in my nosebleed seats cheering for them. I'm going to Dallas in week 2. I'm literally going to the first 2 games. Walking into the Lions Den, I'm going to wear my shirt loud and proud to them annoying-ass Cowboys fans, and I know they're going to be talking mad crap, and I will be cheering for them. And if they give me a reason to cheer after the game, I will come on my stream or any platform and say, yo, they are doing the damn thing. But if they are continuing to win, lose, win, I'm going to call them out for it. Right now, I feel like that's the path that we're going is this 7-8 win type season. But I pray. I'm not jilted enough where I'm like, nah, I want to flame out. If we flame out, fine. Like if we're like more than only 3 wins into November, I'm gonna be like, nah, we're not going to the playoffs. Like flame out, so we get a top pick and let's just start over. But as long as we have a heartbeat, I'll cheer for them. But damn, man, this is our 4th year more after Drew Brees, and I knew it was gonna be rough after that man left, but I didn't. Actually, you know what? I'm sure you saw Marlon because I've seen you and me on the same Facebook post a lot of times. You know, like in Brees' final year or 2, they had certain people, I ain't gonna name names, say, oh, Brees needs to go. And I always say, y'all act like these Hall of Fame quarterbacks grow on trees. Like we can just go outside and say, okay, Drew, goodbye. Like here's another great quarterback. And now they are seeing what quarterback hell looks like. So honestly, I feel like we kind of deserve it for all. And there wasn't all the fans, obviously, but there was a portion of fans like, oh, it's time for Drew to go. Well, look what life is now without Drew Brees. Look what life is now without. Be careful what you ask for, Saints fans. This is what y'all wanted. This is what y'all get. There was fans that were saying Sean Payton needed to go after Drew. Be like, oh, Sean Payton has worn out his welcome. Well, look what life is like without Sean Payton. Y'all ask for it, y'all get it.
There you go. So to that point, speaking of Facebook, I think I saw a post. What was it? Yesterday? I think it was yesterday. I don't know if it's real or not, but it was like the Vikings were interested in trading for Derek Carr because their draft pick McCarthy got hurt. Because you guys been looking so well with Spencer Rattler as quarterback, they said, "Oh, will we trade Derek Carr to the Vikings so Rattler can be starting quarterback?" So maybe a rumor, it was just BS. I don't know. So if that did happen, would you support that?
Well, how much time we got? Because I couldn't go on the whole tent. So that was a fake account. That was a troll account.
Okay.
Let me start off right quick because this is what these troll accounts do. They just simply type in Google "white man in suit." They find a stock photo of a random white man in a suit, and you would not believe, Marlon, how easy it is on Twitter to spread fake news because people do not give a damn about actually fact checking or verifying. So this guy, this reporter, is literally, it could be a high school kid behind this account. He's built up like 2,000 followers, and all he did was find a white guy in a suit, made that his profile picture. He named it Scott Erickson, I believe, and put the bio.
Yeah, it was. Reporter. Right, okay.
Doesn't even have the blue check. You can actually buy a blue check now and even make yourself even more credible. He doesn't even have a blue check. Yeah, right. But he's built up enough of an audience that he knows it is so easy to fool people on Twitter. So he made that tweet. It takes one retweet, and then everybody, people don't check. They're just kind of like casually on their phone. Oh, wow. Retweet. And now you got 1,000 retweets. Yahoo reposted it and I'm like, good Lord, if we got media like not even fact checking.
Really? Nah, I know that part.
So he even has in his bio now. He puts parody like this is a fake account, and people still don't care. That's like I'm like, oh my, like are people this stupid? Like I'm not a Donald Trump supporter, but one thing he got right is fake news. Like, God damn, it's easy to spread fake news. So all I ask Martin is that, like, when you see stuff like that, you know what? Let me search this guy's name before I even.
I didn't do all that. I saw a scroll. I'm like, oh, okay. I think I'm scrolling.
It's easy. So. You know why? Because it's easier for somebody to take a screenshot and say, "Oh my God, y'all!" than to actually say, "Let me actually like see if somebody that's actually reputable is reporting this." But hey, as long as people keep believing it, then these fake reporters are never going to stop. Now let's say that it was actually real though. There actually was some smoke behind that. One, I don't think that's true at all, because I feel like Dennis Allen and Mickey Loomis love Derek Carr and do not nearly love Spencer Rattler right now as much as the fans do. It is absolutely valid to say right now that the Saints fans are overrating the hell out of Spencer Rattler. Do not get me wrong. That kid has all the tools you could want in the quarterback. Watching his growth is going to be fun. He absolutely can be a starter one day. Is he on August 15, 2024 ready to be the guy that we hand the keys to? Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no. Like, even Patrick Mahomes sat for a year, right? Like, come on, what are we doing? I know that Saints fans are just so low right now and ready to start anew that they want to we drafted this kid. I mean, honestly, before the draft, were you seeing any Saints fan hyping up a Spencer Rattler? No, like, but we drafted him, and the free agent, front office should notice, like, you draft a quarterback with a little bit of a name value to him that the fans are going to instantly like gravitate towards him if the starter isn't Mr. Popular, and Derek Carr clearly isn't Mr. Popular. So it's not a shock that Spencer Rattler is the great. I don't want to say white hope because I think he's mixed, but the great.
He's definitely mixed.
You know, but shout out to the light skins, huh?
Yeah, coming up.
I'm not mixed with anything, but I am light skinned, so I rock.
But
it's not a fact that the fans are like all in on this kid, and I do think that he can potentially be a guy for us in the future. But I'm not that down in the dumps yet that I'm like, oh, I'm ready for him to. I'd rather him use this year, sit on a bench, learn behind Derek Carr. Honestly, you can argue that Jake Haener, actual number 2 right now, is better than Spencer Rattler. And it feels like Toy Story when Andy got Buzz Lightyear. He looked at Woody and threw him in the trash and said, I don't want to play with you no more. Like last year, Saints fans was loving Jake Haener. Now they're like, all right, dude, we don't want to play with you no more. We got a new shiny toy. I feel bad for Jake Haener. So on Twitter, I'm actually like still trying to be the leader of the Haener Hive is what we call it. Just because I feel bad for the kid, man. I'm like, damn, man, we just trashed this kid because Spencer Rattler came through. But I think Jake Haener and Spencer Rattler do have bright futures. I'm not going to, today at least, sign over my faith that either of those two could be the future, because I brought up a point on my show, Martin, and I'll turn the tables and ask you a question.
Okay.
You know that if we do eventually fire Dennis Allen, the next head coach has absolutely no obligation to any of the players on our team, right? Like we've seen it a million times. A new head coach comes in and says, okay, I want my guys. I don't got no loyalty. I didn't draft Spencer Rattler. I didn't sign Derek Carr. I didn't draft Jake Haener. So I ask Saints fans, and I ask you one, like, if we fire Dennis Allen, I hope they do realize that the next head coach, whoever it is, can easily say, I mean, Spencer Rattler's cool, but I want to sign this free agent, or I want to draft this quarterback that I like in college. So I hope that Saints fans can realize that. Like, you realize that, right, Marlon? You realize that, huh?
I'm not a Saints fan, but to that question, though, yes, I realize that more than likely will happen that somebody else came in, they have no loyalty to Rattler. They'll watch him, they'll see how he plays, but like they may think, you know what, he's good, I don't think he's ready. Let me sign this person, or let me draft this person. So it can go either direction. So
all that to say, be careful again what you wish for, Saints fans. Like sometimes if you ask for this, that means you're gonna get that in return. That's all I'm saying.
So let me put on that general manager hat on you here. Let's say, for example, to that point earlier, let's say you have 3 wins up until the trade deadline. Do you consider trading DeMario Davis, Marshawn Lattimore? You probably can't really trade Kamara because he's a running back. He's up there in age. It's probably a little more difficult to trade him, but maybe like DeMario Davis or something like Marshawn Lattimore, you may be able to get some sort of draft competition back. Would you do that if you're a general manager?
This is where I'm delusional because, like, in one breath, I'm yelling, we got to restart over. But I'm like, I don't want to trade DeMario. I don't want to trade Lattimore. Like, I like those guys.
Yeah, right.
That's why I'm a fan.
They're like your top assets, basically. The older guys that can go on somewhere else. But
that's why I'm a fan and I'm not a GM. If I'm the GM, then you absolutely got to consider it. Like, if it's like, okay, like this team has run its course. We've reached the apex of what we can do with this core. Then if I was a GM, I would absolutely say, it might be time. If there's a team interested in giving us value for DeMario or Marshawn or Cam or AK, I feel like a team would be like, hey, AK has about a year or 2 left with some good wheels in motion that he can, boost to us for a playoff run or whatnot. It will suck for me as a fan. Absolutely. I love these guys. I love our core guys, right? But at the same time, it's also like I don't want to see like, man, DeMario and Cam. Marshawn has been a hit or miss the past few years, but AK like guys who, you could tell love this city and are still out there every single day giving everything they got for this team because they're trying to win. Like it's not one thing I get the players is like, even though we're not successful lately as far as making the playoffs, like you can still see these guys are fighting. Like it isn't because of lack of effort. Let's say that they are not giving up. They go out there every Sunday and fight. And you're like, man, I want to see these guys like have a shot to win a Super Bowl, right? And because it doesn't feel like it's going to happen here, as much as it would suck to see DeMario or Cam in different color uniforms, it's like, but I also want to see these guys have a shot at the rain, right? Like they're sacrificing their bodies. They're over 33, 34. Like I want to see them in their peak or prime apex years go for a ring. So as a GM, yes, I would do it. And even honestly, as a fan, I would consider it just so that those guys can actually have success that they deserve and not just flounder around in mediocrityville in New Orleans.
Gotcha, man. So my final football question would be is obviously our teams play each other week 3. So I have to ask this question. Y'all gonna win?
We got Carolina in week 1. As bad as we are, as down bad as we are down bad. I do think
y'all
that
should
Carolina,
be Carolina.
I think people are kind of obtuse.
Carolina's like they just
like that's I tell people that I say as bad as we are, I can still argue we ain't the worst team in our division. Like Carolina has done some bad things, like traded DJ Moore and got nothing out. Got Bryce Young, but Bryce Young hasn't shown anything so far.
No.
Traded Christian McCaffrey, traded Brian Burns, and so far have nothing to show for it. Fired they've had like 2 head coaches in the past 2.
Yeah,
they are a bad franchise right now. I feel like we're a sexier team to like hate on to the national media, but I'm like, man, Carolina's worse off than us right now, and especially if Bryce Young doesn't take a lead this year. All that to say, I feel like we should win week 1. Now, if we beat the Cowboys, Marlon, I ain't gonna lie.
I would love if y'all beat the Cowboys.
I don't know you cheering for, right? I would be like, I would still be a little hesitant because we went 2-0 last year too, but I would be like, So I would approach that Eagles game. Well, I'm gonna try to talk shit to you no matter what, because this shit more than the game. But if we are 2-0, I'm not high on the Cowboys this year either. I think they're better than us, but I don't think that they're going to be as good as they were last year. Y'all, because y'all NFC guys, y'all NFC East guys, y'all like to rotate. Like 1 year is Dallas, the next year is Philly, 1 year is that. Yeah. Watch out for Jaden Daniels. Now that guy might come in there.
Now they look good. I cannot lie. Washington looks good. Like especially with Daniels pick. Like man, and they got Austin Eckler. He's old, but he's still serviceable.
So do you feel like the Giants are the bottom of the barrel team this year?
Giants are horrible. Daniel Jones, really?
No. Y'all say shout out for Saquon Barkley now. Take this 4-win season. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game.
I'm not concerned about the Giants whatsoever.
I like Brian Dable though. I don't know. But if we are 2-0, you might see delusional Jono, because I'm not gonna not have fun with a 2-0 team going against Philadelphia. I'm just not. Even though I know what the script ending looks like. I've been burned by the script a million times at this point. I'm still not going to not have fun. If we're like 1-1, or God forbid if we're 0-2, I'm going to be like, yeah, Martin, just whoop our ass. Tell the Eagles to come and put us out of our misery, please, so we can get a top 5 pick. I'll be done with the season already. I'll be like, I know how this shit is going to go. Jalen Hurts, who's already given us hell already for his whole career, I say, please finish us off, please. Mm-hmm. But it's August 15th. This is the time to be delusional, and we're going to whip the Philadelphia Eagles' ass.
I love it. I love the confidence. I love it.
I mean, that was in Philadelphia, right?
Huh?
That game is in Philadelphia, or is it in
No, it's here in New Orleans. I'm trying to go to that game too.
Okay. I want to go to Philadelphia. My wife is a little scared of the fans, so she's like, I don't know if I want to go, but I kind of want to go to a Philadelphia Eagles game one day, and I'm gonna wear my shit too. And if they want to fight, well then I've been working out, so I'm ready.
I see you just showing stuff, man. I see. But yeah, the game is here in New Orleans. I'm gonna try to get tickets to go. On paper, we should win. But then in that dome, we just never know. That's why I'm not like overly confident. I'm not confident. I just want to see. I'm just see how it plays out. I'm just
You really have grown. You really, because boy, if this was like 3 years ago, you would
Oh
have
no,
been.
I'll talk my shit.
Yeah, you would have been like, man, it's gonna be the easiest game on the schedule.
Nah, man, just
A
like you
humble
said,
Phillies fan. Who would have thought?
man.
A
They just
humble
growth. Like
Phillies
just,
fan.
I think for me, my humbling moment when we went like 4-11-1, I was like, yeah, this is like kind of like rock bottom. I'm like, yeah, I can't talk shit no more. Just I know what it's like to be just purely ass. And then with Super Bowl. So like it's just like I've seen the best of both worlds. So
Yeah,
I'm
no.
cool. Now, honestly, like lately it's been more like delusional Cowboy fans been kind of pissed me off. I'm still chill. We talk shit sometimes. I'm like, look, y'all ain't even pay y'all quarterback. Y'all ain't pay CD Lamb. You got Mike who can be up another year. Like y'all got some problems. So this year, honestly, I'm not too concerned with the Cowboys. I'm not because like they have just too many issues right now. So it may linger into the season. Like again, CD Lamb is still on holdout. I mean, at some point, if he does sign, he's not football shape. Let's say week 1, week 2, he pulls a hamstring. That don't go away. That's a hamstring. That shit may linger. So it's like, and then if he goes out, he's gonna throw it to Brandon Cooks. I love Brandon Cooks. Don't get me wrong, but
he's getting up there in age too.
Yeah, he's gonna throw it to. Just like
and again, to my point earlier, like the NFC East has not had a repeating champion. I think it's been like 15 years now.
Oh wow,
so
it's been wild, yeah.
So it seems like all of the momentum is saying that Dallas is due for a down year, which will be funny.
And
I don't know, you're a lot more in tune with like what the NFC East fan bases are talking, but I thought from the outside looking in, the Cowboys fans were a little more humble coming into the season because they were like, okay, we went and done again, and now like we lost talent, we didn't add talent, we got these 3 players who we got to pay with no playoff wins to show for it, and they were like, yeah, we know what's coming. But if you was, well, I mean, it's the Cowboys fan, so I'm not shocked that you said
I don't.
I mean,
I think they lean on more than anything is that they believe that the best quarterback in the division, which I don't believe, but that's their opinion. They believe the best wide receiver in the division. That's could be a legit argument. Legit, because I think him and AJ Brown are.
I'm sorry. I think I would take CD over AJ. I love AJ, but I think I'll take CD.
Yeah, that's fine. And the best defensive player in the division, Michael Parsons. I would say I'll give him that because we lost.
I like yeah. But the thing is, okay, they got the best wide receiver. Jalen Hurts is way better than Dak Prescott. They got the best wide receiver. They got the best defensive. Linebacker. He's a linebacker. Yeah. I know it's a hybrid. What else after that? What else do they got?
That's it.
So y'all got more depth in them.
So that's why, like, I'm still a little concerned because it's still like that rivalry because it can go either way. But at the same time, like, you know what? I'd rather just kind of watch and just see how we progress up the entire season. That's where I'm at.
Well, I would say, Marlon, if y'all are like 7 wins into November, you should talk a little shit. Like, I like humble Marlon, but come on, man, we need a little bit of petty Marlon too. Like, what's fun in football season if you ain't gonna enjoy the spoils of victory, Marlon?
I think I would talk shit if we win Super Bowl because, to be honest, the problem is though for me is even to this point. There are so many haters on Jalen Hurts. He can't throw. All he can do is run. It's like he's making these throws. What more do you want to see? He's a winner. Like he may not
MVP
throw all the field, but he's a good he's a winner. He figures it out. Like with his legs or his arm, he's gonna figure it out. So that's why I'm like, I just want him to win. Period. Like the whole national media is like, I think Dak is better, or I think Daniel Jones may be better. It's like. Are the Jordan Love than Jalen Hurts? Or rather, Brock Purdy over Jalen. I'm like, y'all are wild. So I say, you know what? Just wait.
Mental health.
So I do think with the roster we have now, we stay healthy. We got a shot to go Super Bowl. But I'm not.
I absolutely think you guys are a Super Bowl contender in the NFC. I got a question. If by chance y'all do make the Super Bowl, it is in New Orleans next year. How much would you be willing to spend to go? Or would you be like, you know what? I'm not spending $10,000. I'd rather watch it in the comforts of my home or with family or friends. What would be your top option? Or if money wasn't an issue, would you rather watch the game in the dome or would you rather like watch it in the middle of the pandemonium in New Orleans with family and friends?
If money wasn't an issue, I would obviously be there at the dome. Hell yeah. But Them tickets
will be crazy.
I'm good. I need to come to my home, get some drinks, popcorn, nachos, bathroom right here. I'm good. I'll just casually watch the game and make some friends over, watch the game, and just see what happens.
I always say I would go to one Saints Super Bowl if offered. Like if money wasn't an issue, I would go to experience one in person, and after that, I actually think I would prefer watching the Saints Super Bowl like just with family and friends. I feel like it's just more intimate that way and like more special to be like celebrating. Like in 2009. Even if I had a shot to go to Miami, I feel like I would have rather wanted to just stay in New Orleans and experience it like with family and friends, and then going out to Canal Street and Bourbon and partying. So I'm glad that I watched it in New Orleans. Now, if we ever make it again, and somebody was like, "John, I love your content. You want to come to the Super Bowl?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" But then after that,
it is right now for you, that could be a possibility.
You never know. I mean, well, shit, it ain't gonna be like another 5+ years before that even becomes a possibility at this point. But but then after that, like even if I'm lucky to witness a third Super Bowl in my lifetime, I'll be like, I want to watch this one like within the New Orleans city with the fans and with family and friends, because I just kind of like the more intimacy of that,
Yeah, man. So this is my last question for you would be: do you have a drink coming out at the Blue Oak BBQ on August 25th? So how'd that come about?
Man, shout out to Blue Oak BBQ and my guy MJ that works at Blue Oak BBQ. He said that Jono, he came to me and he was like, "Man, I love your stuff. What do you think about us doing a drink, a dish shit more than a drink?" And I was like, sold. Send me the paperwork. Let's do it. Like I was like, because again, Marlon, it's funny. Like I got a pretty good audience on Twitter. I got over 10K people on Twitter. I got 7K on YouTube. I'm very happy with that. I'm still climbing and going for more. Like I said, I'm always like, what's next? I got to keep going. I ain't got the biggest audience on Facebook. I ain't got the biggest audience on Instagram. So I still sometimes I'm like, I'm not like anywhere close to deserving going to get endorsements or partnerships or collaborations. And I just didn't think that I was at the point where like Blue Oak would care about, associating with me. Sometimes I'm going off the topic a little bit, but like, like I'll be out and like somebody would see me and they will be like with a significant other or whatever. And they'll be like, "Oh, Jono." Right. And the person next to them with them wonder who I am. So, oh man, this guy is killing it on social media or whatever. So naturally, I've learned that people, when they say, "Okay, well, let me go search for him," or like see what he's doing, they don't go to Twitter first. They go to Instagram. I only got like I think I got 2,300, and I could be setting myself too much. I ain't got a lot of people on Instagram. I'm still I'm working hard. I'm like, God damn, how can I build my Instagram audience? So I'm like, if that's what people are going to first, they probably look at me and like, "Oh, this guy ain't doing shit." Like when I post it on my Instagram, I only get maybe like 15 likes, and I'm sure they might be like, "Man, how the hell this guy got a drink? What is he doing?" Because not everybody lives on Twitter like I live on Twitter.
Yeah, so you got 2,358. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So one, I'm grateful that the drink connoisseur at Blue Oak is a Twitter user, because that's how he knows that I actually have some traction with my brand. So he came to me though, and he was like, "Hey man, I love what you're doing, man. You absolutely killing it. Do you want to do a drink?" And I was like, hell yeah. He came to me like in February. So this has been brewing, and I had to sit on it without telling too many people for months now. And I'm like, I can't wait till we announce it. And it only made sense that we did it right before football season, right? It's like that's probably going to be the time where at least my supporters are really down to like be in tune to what I'm doing and checking out what I got cooking. So at least stirring, it's a drink, not cooking. Yeah. So we the past few months, because I'm always like extremely anal with anything I put my brand, my face on. I went to Blue Oak. I tried out a variety of drinks. Like, oh, what a great life, huh? I got to try out all these alcoholic drinks for free. My first option, I'll give you some honesty. My first pick, we were gonna do an ice cream drink because I love ice cream. Okay. And I argued with my wife. I was like, "It's my drink. It's got to be something that I like. It's got to scream Jono to me."
Right. Exactly.
And we were gonna do like a cookies and cream type ice cream, like with infused with alcohol. I still hope that we do it one day. But my wife was like, she was like, "It's cool, but like it's a very niche drink that people might try. You might have people try it at your party, but they're not gonna ever order it again. Like you want to have a drink in a final days of the summer, early days of the fall, where people can say, "Oh, I want to have this drink multiple times."
Yeah.
So she talked me out of that, and we ended up doing a strawberry mango alcohol drink, which I love strawberry mango too. So that was my second choice. I said, all right, I'll do strawberry mango because I feel like that's going to be more sales for Blue Oak for like even a common person who doesn't know who I am, but says, "Oh, I want to try this. I want to have a strawberry mango drink." So it's going to be a strawberry mango drink with Sky strawberry vodka. Tastes delicious. It's going to be frozen, so it's going to be something that you can definitely enjoy on a hot summer day, because Lord knows we're going to have these hot summer days up until October, even probably November. And on August 25th, which is actually my birthday, by the way, folks. So if you want to give me a
birthday to you.
Thank you. Just show up to Blue Oak BBQ. The Saints game is going to be on. We're going to be playing the Titans in our final preseason game. So for all these fans who think that Spencer Rattler is the next great hype guy, then you can watch him play the majority of that game because it's the last preseason game. We're going to have a good time. We're going to just be kicking it, celebrating the launch of this drink. I'm humbled. I'm honored. I always say this, Marlon. I only got 10K followers, right? So even though I'm proud of those 10K followers,
that's still a lot of damn followers, though.
Thank you. But a national company would see it because it's still hard to get sponsors for my show and all that. But that's another story. They see it and they're like, "Oh, this guy got 10K followers. Why would I go to that when they got, influencers?" I hate that word in general, but like the. And I'm not taking shots. I'm not dissing, but you see the foodies on New Orleans Instagram with like 75K, and I'm like, okay, but do they have a legitimate community? Like, are they actually, is it the food that people are following for? Or do they actually have like and I'm not taking shots at anybody. I'm not trying to hate. I'm just saying, like, I've learned that my 10K followers, I have a solid community that like is going to follow me off the damn mountain. Whereas you can have 75K followers, but do you really have 75K of a community? I'm humbled though that with my little 10K followers, I have my own drink, and I always tell people. They always say, if you make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Well, I'll say if you are loved in New Orleans, then you don't need to be loved anywhere else, because the love that I have got from the city of New Orleans since I started doing this content 3 years ago has been absolutely amazing. You mentioned the Eric McCoy interview. I get stopped, of course, at Saints games now, which is great. At Mardi Gras this past year, I mean, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. I'm getting stopped by people on Bourbon Street and Canal, like just telling me how much they love my stuff. And I'm like, I only got 10K followers. I don't feel like I'm doing big things the way I guess I actually am, but that just shows you, if you love New Orleans, I know this is cliche at this point now, but if you love New Orleans, they really will love you back. And I'm just so happy to have this shit more than a game brand resonate, because like I say, it's organic with the New Orleans audience. I think it's going to continue to. The Blue Oak drink is probably going to make it grow even more. I think it's going to be a damn good drink, and I'm proud to partner with a great establishment like Blue Oak BBQ. So I'm real humble. And Marlon, I hope that at some point, because it's not going to just be on August 25th where you could get the drink. Like, it's going to be, the launch party is on August 25th at 1 o'clock p.m., but it's going to be at Blue Oak for the whole fall season. So if people can just come out, get some good barbecue. I think Blue Oak has the best barbecue in the city. I'm not just saying that because I'm working with them. Have a nice dish shit more than a drink. And when you order the drink, Marlon, at any point, just be like, you can't be like, one dish shit more than a drink, please. You gotta be like, bartender, I wanted this shit more than a drink.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
This ain't Jono sent me.
Johnson. Okay. But hey, man, like I said, man, I'm proud of what you do. You are definitely inspiration from afar. Like, I watch your content for a minute now and just see what you do. It's hilarious, and it's not forced. It's like really like genuine. Like, I can tell you are. I've known you for years, but I always know you've been a Saints fan, but just the love you have for not only the Pelicans and the Saints, but just your content in general, man. It's definitely, I can see it from afar that it really means something to you. And I'm just inspired by it, man. Like, just watching you from afar, it's pushed me to go even further with my podcast. So thank you, man. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to come on my platform and chop it up. It's been a minute, and hopefully, we chop up again before the Eagles and Saints play each other.
Absolutely. We got to try to do it in person at some point. Keep doing your thing, Marlon. I'm watching you from afar too. And like I said, it's always a process. So I'm glad that I see the work that you and Martin and Jayhawk are putting up. Tell them next time they better show up when Jono Barnes shows up. I know I'm not Shay O'Connor, okay? I know that it kind of went downgrade, okay? Like, you get to look at Shay O'Connor, you got to look at Jono, but they were probably like, I ain't coming to that damn show. Yeah. But if they want to be this shit more than the game certified, tell them they got to come on to the next show. Martin, I love you, my man. I'm proud of you as well. Thank you for all the kind words. even though you're wearing that stupid shirt,
The shirt,
and even though you're an Eagles fan, because of how great of a human being I know you are from a personal level, you are, and you know this shit more than the game certified.
On that note, peace out.